from the crowd. Now she spent this on a bathroom sink. Her mother would be so proud. Get done a deed and there's a line to go pee, but the bathroom looks like a war zone.
Welcome in to episode 37 of Phired Up, presented by the Belly Up Podcast Network. Check them out at bellyupsports.com. My name is Mike Gilotto. Joining me, as always, is my co-host, Dom Console. What's going on, man?
What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm doing just fine. There's a national championship game going on right now. Have you watched any of it so far?
Just a lot been going on today. I have not. I know it just started like an hour ago, so I have not checked in till just now. Alabama up 3-0.
Yeah, it's always 3-0. I was gonna turn it on shortly. Maybe I'll watch it while we're talking and everything, and maybe be distracted like the good old times of me watching.
Right.
Remember when we first started the show? There was playoff hockey, and I was just distracted watching playoff hockey.
Playoff hockey. We had the Phillies, who a few times, both of us.
Yeah.
I remember the first episode we had. We did it together, and every episode since then has been either via Zoom or then when we started using StreamYard. But I remember the first episode we watched. I think the Flyers played and the Phillies played, and we were talking about Eagles draft. And I had my phone up watching the Phillies.
Yep.
You had your phone up watching the Flyers as we were talking, and recording the first episode. It's a little bit harder than it seems, but it's very hard to do three things at once.
It is tough. It is very tough. Apparently Georgia is on the move right now.
It's the start of the second quarter, right?
I'm about to turn it on, so we will see.
Yeah, 13 minutes left in the second.
Yep, there you go. So, all right. Well, I'll keep that to the side, and we'll monitor that as we go along. Listen, I know we really weren't planning on talking about the game, but it's hard to bet against Nick Saban and Alabama.
Right.
It's just it's insane that they were an underdog in that game. I don't get it, but
yeah, and especially because we've already seen this matchup and
Yep.
The way that Alabama won big
right.
the first time, or the second. They played 3 times, right?
I know they played
for the SEC championship.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, and Alabama won pretty big.
Yeah, they did. But then I guess everybody's falling in love with Georgia because they beat the shit out of who was it, Michigan?
Michigan,
and Michigan's a fraud program anyway.
Well, I think if any team's gonna beat Alabama, it's Georgia.
Yeah, that's probably.
There
true.
you go. Georgia tied up 3-3.
Yep.
Like I said, if there's any team, they have a really good running attack. They have a really, really good defense. A few guys I really hope to see in Midnight Green come next year. But yeah, I mean, it's I'm sure as soon as we're done recording this episode, I'll go flip it on. So
right now, let's move on.
I actually have beef.
Go ahead.
I have beef with
this comment. Notre Dame could beat them. Notre Dame can't beat any big school. Notre Dame is an absolute fraud of a program.
I'm not even sure Georgia can beat them, and Georgia's the best chance they have,
right?
Or the best chance to beat them. But I have beef with college football.
All
Why
right.
the fuck is the national championship on a Monday every year?
That's a good point.
Why not Saturday night? You don't have to do it Sunday. You don't have to do it Sunday for the game for NFL. It's perfect. Saturday nights are perfect.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. I wonder why that started.
Late.
I know. Yeah, it starts at 8 o'clock.
Well, I'm saying
like
even January 10th is kind of late. It used to be closer to New Year's.
Closer to New Year's, right? Yeah. Well, they pushed it back once they started the playoff, probably.
Right. Yeah.
So, because that's an extra week of football, essentially.
But do these teams really need a month to prepare for bowl games and
No, they don't. No, because the season ends late November.
Yeah, the first week of December, maybe.
Yeah, late November, early December, right?
And then mid-December is when some of the bowl games start, and then late December and early January when all the
bowl games are meaningless to begin with. There's no point.
Yeah, I guess. I mean,
they're glorified exhibitions.
Yeah, I'm not much of a college fan. I don't know if I've ever said that on here. I'm not the biggest college football fan. So I don't. I mean, I'm sure it's a lot more meaningful to college fans. So,
yeah,
so
maybe.
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, me neither. I mean, I watch the big games. I watch a lot of SEC maybe if there's a big game going on. But yeah, I'm not a huge college football fan either.
We talked about it last week. I lost both bets.
Right. Yeah.
On New Year's Eve. So it shows you how big of a college football fan I am.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. But listen, let's move on here because I usually don't do this after a loss. However, the Eagles are going in to the playoffs, so I feel like I gotta play the song, right?
Of course.
Listen, it was an ugly game, obviously, right? On
for sure.
Saturday night, but what are you gonna do? 51-26, but they're going to play Tom Brady in the playoffs. Where have we seen this before?
I don't know, man. You think maybe we should remind everybody.
Does 41-33 ring a bell?
Ah, there it is.
Before we get into the Bucs matchup and we preview that, did you have anything, any takeaways from the Dallas game? I mean, a weird Saturday night game. Gardner Minshew plays. Kelsey gets the first snap, so so you can keep the streak going along, and then they pull him. I mean, it was essentially the backups versus Dallas' starters. Did you have any takeaways from that game?
I mean, Devontae Smith broke the record too. The rookie receiving record.
He sure did.
So that was cool to see. No, I went out for the game. I didn't go to the game, but I went out for the game. I was drunk by halftime, so I don't really remember much of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I had said on the way to the place that I went for the game, I said I hope at least 3 Cowboys die tonight, like 3 starters, just because they're starting their starters for at a minimum 3 starters die on that field tonight. Unfortunately, not one of them even got hurt. So
yeah, absolutely. But I mean, there was a couple close calls with Dak. I was really surprised that that Dak was in there. I mean, I know they're playing for seeding, and McCarthy said that he, coming off of a bad loss the week prior, he wanted to build momentum into the playoffs, so that's why he was keeping him in there for as long as he did. It was a weird call for me for sure. But onto the, I mean, yeah, it's against backups. I still don't love that Dallas put up 51 against you.
Right.
I mean, you definitely don't like to see that.
See, it kind of sucks for, like, even the Kansas City and Denver game. It kind of sucks having a Saturday night game because you don't know what the seedings are going to be on Sunday. Like if, like, I'm not sure Dallas even moved out of the same position that they were in. So
correct.
So if you have that game at Sunday at 4:00 and you already kind of know where you're going,
seeding,
where you're going to be seated, you kind of sucks having to start your guys on Saturday night. But
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
it is what it is. There, a couple close calls again with Dak. He got popped a couple times, which is nice to see.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, it's again a bunch of backups. I was fine with Hurts not playing. Again, you got the snap for Kelsey. That was nice to see. Keeps the streak going. I mean, future Hall of Famer. We talked about it last week. But yeah, let's move on. I mean, to the Eagles and Bucs game. I mean, I teased it a little bit. Playing Tom Brady again. I'm sure Tom Brady's gonna try to have a revenge game, right, to avenge his Super Bowl loss. Do the Eagles have any shot in this game?
It's a
loaded question.
Yeah. Look, can they win the game? Yeah, but, like, will they? Probably not. Dude, I've been saying that a lot this year on the show, or 2021. A lot with the Phillies.
Yeah.
I feel like that's like my phrase is like, can they win? Sure, but will they win? Probably not. Like, that's just, I get that tattooed on our foreheads as a city of Philadelphia.
Right, but like even in the whole entire NFL, that's kind of been the motto this year is any given Sunday, and there's been a lot of weird games where teams that win shouldn't win, and but again, I mean, you're going against Tom Brady. Has there been any news from Mike Evans? Is he healthy? Because I know he got hurt this weekend.
He came back.
He did come back. Oh, I didn't know he came back.
Scored a touchdown. Yeah.
Did he?
Yep.
He looked like he was in a ton of pain. I thought it was a serious injury when he got hurt.
Yeah, no, they were worried.
Yeah.
And then he came back. He came back out and he caught a touchdown. His second touchdown. He also broke over that 1,000-yard mark for the season.
That's right. He's done it.
So obviously, so he was the first receiver ever in NFL history to put up 1,000 yards in his first 7 years in the league. It's now obviously he's the first to do it 8 times.
8, right?
So he helped me win a fantasy championship. So I have a soft spot for Mike Evans. So.
Hey, there you go. That's always nice. That's always nice.
But yeah, I mean, I think he's healthy. I think he's fine.
Okay.
Obviously Godwin's going to be out, and Antonio Brown's obviously not there anymore, so Evans is really going to be the guy to focus on next week. With Slay, probably.
Antonio Brown?
What the fuck he doing?
Our favorite drop.
What the fuck he doing? had to play it at least once. I cut it up. I had to play it at least once this week. But yeah, I mean, this is kind of what you're going against, right? I mean, the Bucs were ranked first in passing. Tom Brady, Mike Evans, we just talked about it. There's no secret there. The good news, ranked 26th in rushing, so they're not gonna run the ball hard on you.
Yeah, and their offense is rushing. You're saying? I think you meant their defense.
No, correct. Their offense.
I was gonna say because last year they were pretty good. Last year they were like first or second in the league against rushing defensively.
This year
they're
third.
The last
Yeah.
Well, so I know the last couple of weeks they haven't been as successful against it. So I don't know. We'll see.
Maybe not as much as they were last year, but they're still ranked third.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they're the third best rushing defense in the league. But 21st ranked passing defense. So as a whole, I mean, they can be beat. The problem that I think the Eagles might run into, and again, one game any given Sunday, is the turnover differential. The Bucs force the sixth most amount of turnovers this year. They had 17 interception, 12 fumble recoveries, plus 10 in turnover differential. The Eagles 27th in forced turnovers. The 12 interceptions, 4 fumbles, 0 turnover differential. So I think that could kind of be a big part of the game. Can you force Brady to turn the ball over? He doesn't do it often. And can you limit your turnovers? I think that's going to kind of come down to Sunday.
Right. I mean, usually when you look at the box score at the end of any game, or any football game, really, even basketball, whoever leads in turnovers usually loses the game. So
right.
I mean, it's like you said, it's going to be tough to get him to turn the ball over, but if they can get that done and they don't turn the ball over, they have a shot. I'm not saying they're going to win. I'm not saying that they should win. I'm just saying maybe they have a shot if they could find that luck. Look, we'll go back to, what was it, 08 or 09 when the Giants went in.
Right.
I forget where they went in the first round. I think it was Dallas. They played Dallas in the first round. Everybody had Dallas to win. What did the Giants do? Upset the Cowboys. They went to Green Bay. Same thing. Everybody had Green Bay. Or no, maybe that was the NFC Championship game. I forget who I think they played Tampa the first round, Dallas the second round, and Green Bay the third round. And all 3 rounds, I mean, they were projected to lose. So
right.
It's possible. So
it is. And
obviously Eli came up big that run, and we know how I feel about Eli and the New York Giants, but
you hate Eli. You hate the whole state of New York, really. Honestly, let's be real.
I don't even know if hate's the right word. I despise everything about it. Him,
right.
That team, those colors.
Yeah.
Fuck the Giants. Fuck North Jersey or whatever, Central Jersey, whatever you want to call that stupid fucking place. Fuck New York too.
The good news is Joe Judge is still their head coach.
Yes, he is.
But anyway, Joe says,
dude, their fucking GM retired.
I know. Yeah,
How
instead of them firing him,
right.
basically.
But what respect does he have that they're going to say, well, you should just retire?
Right.
Like, it's not like Bill Belichick, you know what I mean? Like, you can't or Andy Reid, like, you can't
right.
fire them.
I know.
Like, so yeah, just say you're going to retire. He'll be back in a year or two.
But this comment, come on, man, Eagles don't have a shot. I mean, listen, I shit all over this team last week. I'm not doing that again. All right, I'm gonna have a little bit, maybe not confidence, maybe it's false hope. Don brings up a good point. It's house money. That's all they're playing with. So let's just enjoy a playoff game. That we didn't think this team was going to be in. So let's sit back, relax, enjoy, watch meaningful football in January. That's kind of the main point.
I don't think. I mean, at least nobody over here at our show. I mean, I've seen people on Twitter who have them going far. I don't think either of us even really have them winning this game.
No.
But it's another Sunday of football for us, for meaningful football for the Eagles.
Yep.
So let's enjoy it.
Absolutely.
Even if it is a bloodbath.
Right, and Don brings up another good point. The Bucs can be vulnerable against the run and are giving up a lot of yards to the tight end. And as we've seen since the Ertz trade, Goddard's been like a main focal point of this offense. And it kind of runs around him. So
I felt it firsthand. I lost another fantasy playoff game because of that 135-yard game or whatever he had.
You're not allowed to bitch though, because you won a league. So
Yeah, true. It's my big league too. So, but that league I was first place, and like you shouldn't have to play in the first round. You should get a bye in the first round. So I bitched for a week.
Right.
So,
why can everyone say Hurts is a savior in Philly? He is shit, but getting credit for everything. I don't know if he is getting credit for everything. I think the credit is more on Sirianni for running the offense. I don't know
and
if
Gannon.
Hurts,
Gannon's getting a lot of praise last couple weeks.
is he like?
I've
He's
seen
playing the worst quarterbacks in the league.
No, I got you. I'm not saying he deserves it. I'm just saying he's gotten a lot of credit. Sirianni's gotten a lot of credit. I think Hurts has gotten some.
He's gotten some, but like to me, he's still not great.
No,
I think I said it last week. I think he's a game manager. So as long as he can limit the turnovers, as long as he can kind of keep the chains moving,
right.
I think they can win with the right game plan. And the Eagles, around weeks 8, I think it was the week against the Lions, Sirianni realized that he could run the football, and they finished the year first in the NFL in rushing.
I like that whole time period. Like it's very much like in history when there's like a certain part in history, it's like a time before that and a time after. Like I don't know. Like I'm trying to think of like something off the top of my head. Like but it just feels like the time before week 8 and the time after week 8. It was just two different times in history, and I just feel like those first 7 or 8 weeks, it was like they tried to force something that. They tried to force a game plan that was never going to work to see if it would work. And then after week 8, they realized, like, okay, that's not going to work. So we've got to change our game plan.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's crazy that it took them that long to realize it. But ever since the game against the Lions, where I think they put up like 44 points, they dismantled the Lions, and they ran all over them. But ever since that point, I mean, this has been a top rushing offense in the league.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and we've seen a couple games, especially maybe not the Dallas game, because like I said, I don't really remember much of it. But the couple weeks before that, I feel like sometimes they kind of went away from the run too, and it was like, I guess it was the Giants game. They started off the game, the first like 3 drives, they had 1 run.
Right.
The game against even the other game against the Giants, the first one in New York, they didn't run the ball, and that was the latter part of the season of after week 8.
Right.
So there were times it's just I just kind of hope they don't go into this game Sunday against the Bucs and just try to force him to throw the ball too much. And look, Hurts next year. Everybody who listens, watches, knows how I felt about Jalen Hurts. I don't think he's the answer. I think he at best is a game manager. I think. I like in between the ears. I like his attitude. I just don't think he has the ability. But at the same time, I don't. And I've said it on the show before too. I don't know what these these future rookie quarterbacks, these draft picks that are coming out. I don't know how good or bad they're going to be. Nobody does. Everybody thought Josh Allen was going to stink, and I said that last week or the week before. I forget.
Yeah.
But none of them really like wow you to a certain extent. And I'm not giving up a first or second round pick for Russell Wilson, and I'm probably not trading for Aaron Rodgers because I don't think this team is anywhere near close to winning a Super Bowl, let alone winning one round of the playoffs.
Right.
But what else do you do? I mean, maybe if Deshaun Watson, like, it somehow comes out that he didn't do anything and they can prove that he didn't do anything, and that's the only way that I would take him because
I don't think it's going to happen.
Right. That's what I'm saying. I think that's the only possible thing that you're gonna see is if Jalen Hurts isn't back next year is if they take it on Deshaun Watson. And I'm not saying they should, and I'm not saying they would or whatever, but you never know with this team.
Right.
So
yeah, exactly.
So I think Hurts is the answer for next year right now, at least for another year, and that pains me to say because I have not been a big fan of his ability.
I think he's earned that.
Correct.
He hasn't earned maybe a long-term role. He's earned the chance to compete one more year as a starting quarterback.
And the biggest thing that I've seen out of him that's changed from week 3 to going into the playoffs, really, and it was really that Washington game at home, the Tuesday night game, and I guess it was because of his ankle. You actually brought it up about his ankle and maybe he wasn't as mobile.
Yeah.
Dude, he would step up in the pocket and like he would just wait an extra second or two instead of just running the ball, and he
Right.
hit his receivers. So
Stop. What is in your cup? He is not a starting quarterback. A
I
lot
don't
of
think
Jalen
anybody's
Hurts.
saying he's a
Yeah,
starting
I'm,
quarterback.
yeah. I'm not pumping his tires. I just think he's
Right.
been fine. He's been fine.
He-
Love that Gannon
he's
is
done
getting
enough-
head coaching interest, bringing Brian Flores to run this defense. I can't believe he got fired, Flores.
I think Flores is
And
going to get a head coaching job.
I think so too. I was surprised that he got fired. And we were going to talk about Gannon, but apparently he's going to get interviewed for the Broncos head coaching job. Take him, fine. I'm
Yeah.
cool with that.
I don't think it's going to happen.
But yeah, I don't either. There's other options out there. But back to a little bit of the optimism factor when it comes to this Sunday game against the Bucs. So October 14th, the Eagles played the Bucs, right? But so we already saw this team once this season. The Eagles lost that game 28-22. So scoreboard wise, I don't remember exactly how the game went.
They had a shot late.
Right, yeah, but
And they
scoreboard
couldn't
wise,
stop them. They couldn't stop them on third and short.
right.
The Bucs. They couldn't stop the Bucs on third and
That's
short.
right.
They ran
that's
the
right,
ball
that's right.
for a first down, and the time it was just it wasn't possible.
But going to the running the ball factor, and this being before the Lions game where they realized they could run the ball, the Eagles ran the ball 9 times that game,
right.
all
That's
with
what I'm
Miles Sanders. All with Miles Sanders. Well, Hurts had 10 rushes, but I don't count that. I'm
Right.
talking about solely
Handing the ball off.
Right, exactly. Had 9 for 56 yards. So I mean, if you can establish the run again like you've been doing for the last 10 weeks or so, I think you're in a better spot.
Yeah, absolutely. It makes it a better game. And that's the thing is like if you can successfully run the ball, you keep Brady off the field as much as possible. You run the clock out. You run as best as you can. Look, I think I saw a stat the other day when they rush over 100 yards before the Dallas game. I don't know what they had for the Dallas game rushing wise, but I think if they rush over 100 yards as a team, they're undefeated this year.
This Dallas game that just passed.
Yeah.
Hold on, I can tell you that in 1 second.
They're like 6-0 if they rush over 100 yards or something, or 8-0.
Are they really?
Something like that. It's something stupid.
Let's see. They did. Yeah, they did. They rushed for well over 100 yards. Yeah.
Okay, so I guess then that's their one loss or whatever.
They
it
rushed.
is.
They rushed for like 140.
Yeah.
So
Dude, how about that Huntley kid?
yeah,
Hit a couple nice little bursts.
he did. I mean, the backfield's so crowded that I don't know how
Yeah.
much of a role he has in the future. But
It's
but then
shocking he's not on another team
Yeah.
as like a third or fourth running
Well,
back. I don't think he's.
I think he was
stud.
undrafted. The Eagles signed him to the practice squad. So and listen, we've kind of seen it when it comes to running backs. The offensive line is really the biggest point of the running the ball. We're seeing what Tennessee's doing. I mean, as great as Derrick Henry is, they're still running the ball just as good without him.
Right.
I mean,
And he's
the
coming
offensive.
back.
Yeah, is he come back?
Yeah,
I guess
for
next
the first
week?
game, or
Yeah.
for their first game.
Right, which is next week. Yeah.
But go ahead.
So.
Yeah,
But no, I just think the line play has a lot to do with the running game. and-
absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, they've been one of the best O lines in the league. Hurts doesn't even before week 8. When I was just talking about how that was before week 8 and after week 8, there was life after and before.
Right.
Even before week 8, he wasn't hit that much. He wasn't sacked that much this year. I think Lane Johnson hasn't given up a sack all year.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I mean, we talked about Pro Bowl a couple weeks ago. He was. I think he should have
Snub?
been. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, because he's been great and quietly great, which I
Right.
mean, I guess is kind of the, what linemen's all. Yeah, if a lineman has a good game, you're really not going to hear much about him, honestly.
Right. If you hear, it's that old saying. If you hear his name, it's a lot like a cornerback. If you hear his name, it's not a good
Probably
thing usually.
right. It's probably a bad thing.
Yeah.
So. All right. Well, did you have anything else with this game and coming up? And I mean, any sort of predictions going to happen? You think they win, lose, or are you just going to enjoy the game and watch it for what it is?
Do you want me to give you?
Do whatever you want.
Okay. I do ultimately. I do think they lose.
Okay.
I
no
think
fun.
yeah, I know. I mean, life sucks sometimes.
Yeah, it's true.
I think they lose. I think it's going to be a well-fought game. I don't think it's going to be like the first time around where they came back late I think
Right.
I think they're going to give them a nice battle. I think it's going to be something like, I don't know, like 28-27 loss. Like it's going to be a
Oh,
nail
that's a
biter.
heartbreaker,
Yeah,
too.
it's yeah. I think they're going to come down the field and hit us with a game-winning field against us and hit a game-winning field goal or something
Okay.
stupid.
Yeah, I can see
So.
that. Yeah, I mean, ultimately, I think that they will lose. I think that, but I think that they're gonna fight. Like I think
Yeah.
I don't think it's gonna be a blowout. That's kind of basically the same thing you said, but I think they're gonna lose. But again, I'm kind of just watching it just because we have Eagles football.
Yeah, of course.
In January, we have playoffs. You know, nobody thought the Eagles were going to be here. I think before the season, I expected them to have 5 wins. I think I predicted, and here we are. So I'm just watching for a good game. I'm going to say maybe like a 31-27 type loss.
Yeah, I think I just have a feeling they're going to be up, like 27-25 or some stupid number.
Right.
Late in the game, and Brady's just going to drive downfield and rely on his kicker to win the game. So I just kind of feel it that way.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, because the thing is, they really haven't faced a top tier quarterback probably since that Bucs game. Honestly.
Right.
You know, I mean, yeah, you just played Dak, but you had your second team guys in there.
Herbert.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, Herbert. Yeah. Maybe Herbert. You can make the argument for. But still,
Dak didn't count.
No, it didn't.
They had third stringers out there.
Right, exactly. Yeah, so I don't really count that much. So
Right.
all right, you want to move on?
Yeah.
All right, let's go Birds. We'll just finish it with that. But let's move on to you could do our against the spread picks. We're gonna just do the playoff matchups, and we didn't do any of this yet, so we're just gonna kind of wing it on the fly. We're gonna talk about each game.
Yeah, we don't do many things on the fly. It might seem like it sometimes we do, but
Yeah.
this is gonna be a first. So I mean, you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
Dom is secretly rooting for some type of scoregami. We forgot about that. That's the best
Yeah.
part about this game this weekend. There was scoregami.
Yes, there was, and you texted me the day after, right? Or you sent it to me.
Don tagged us.
Oh right.
Yeah, Don
Right.
tagged us on Twitter. Showing it. Yeah. So we can't forget about the good old scoregami.
Correct.
But anyway, so back to against the spread. We both were terrible this week. I'll be honest. We both went 1-4.
Oh, nice.
So that brings my total to a brutal 40-50, and you're dead even 500, 45-45.
Okay.
So,
I mean, I wish I did better, but
right,
I'll take it. I mean, whatever.
right. So
I'm a lot
let's
like
go.
the Phillies team. This Phillies
Right.
team.
Yeah, there you go.
500.
Right, 500. But this is your chance to make it better.
Yes. Oh, so we're gonna add it to our totals.
Yeah, I mean, I would say so. Do you not want to?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. All right. So the Raiders going to Cincinnati. So Cincinnati's home. The Bengals -6. Who you taking?
Oh boy, I love the Bengals right now. I think they win the game, but I think the Raiders. I think I got to take the Raiders +6. I think it's going to be a close one.
Raiders +6. Okay. Speaking of which, that whole ending to that Raiders game was fucking
wild.
insane. What is it?
Well, you won some money, right?
Yes, for that game to go into overtime,
Right.
+700 cash.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's a good
Thank
one.
you.
Can we talk about that for a minute?
Yeah, go for it.
I know we're in the middle of against the spread, but
No, you're fine.
But I didn't think there was any chance that game was going to end a tie at all. Even way before the game started, even before the Jags game, I was saying it last week that I didn't think there was any chance that game was going to be a tie.
How often do we see ties like that? That would have had to been the perfect.
But if you think about it, the Chargers and the Raiders wake up on Sunday, they go to the stadium, they see that the Jags win. Why in the world would they just say, you know what, let's just do a tie? That's like the Eagles waking up saying, you know what, let's just tie with the Cowboys, let them get in, and we'll get into her. The Giants, we'll just let our rivals get in. Like, we'll just let a division rival get in. Like, I know that's a lot. I know that's not what they're thinking, but like, I don't know what advantage do they have for letting another team in that knows them well that they could possibly play again?
So I agree to an extent because like athletes, coaches, the team, they're not built to say, oh, I just want to tie this game. Like no,
Right.
you want to go out every week to win. Especially when you look at it, like if I had to guess, the Raiders and whoever are in the playoffs, my guess would rather play the Steelers, who were going to come out, than the Chargers, who have Justin Herbert, who's capable of going off at any moment.
Right.
So I think you'd rather play the Steelers, but I think it's not a sense of your opponent. I think it's, hey, we can, if we do kind of both have a mutual respect of let's kind of take this one easy and we'll tie. It's not it's almost like a glorified bye. You don't have to hurt any of your players.
But I don't think.
They don't think that way. Yeah, so I don't think it's
Right, like
think
the
it's
Jaguars
possible,
had no reason to win that game other than the fact to spoil the Colts' playoff chances, and they still played hard. Like, not that they played hard, but it's still a rough sport. Like,
for sure.
I mean, they're not going to just say, oh, you know what, just take it in. Like, it's I understand what you're saying, and I'm not arguing with you. I'm just saying, like, there's no reason for me to go out there. Like, if I went out there, whether it's win and you're in or tie and we're in, I'm still going out there trying to win. Like, no matter what, I want to make sure
Right.
I'm in the playoffs, not trying to change a seeding spot or whatever it is. Like, I'm going out there to win the game. You go out there to win the game. You play to win the game. Like,
Right.
like,
you
so many
play
things, like,
to win the game.
Right. So, like, I don't know. I guess it's just. I've said
Well,
forever.
it's a loser mentality too. To
Right.
like, oh, let me just go out there and tie, and say I do say, all right, we have this handshake agreement. Let's tie out there, and I don't do anything, whatever. I'm lollygagging, and you say, oh, fuck you, I'm gonna go and score now.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
And
I've been saying, I just think it's the mentality maybe that I have. I don't know, but I've been saying for years that these quarterbacks who come out of college and they don't want to go to Cleveland, like, I want to be the guy that changes that stigma about Cleveland. You know what I mean? Like, I want to go out there and I want to win. So, like, why would you not want to be the Raiders and go out there, or the Chargers, go out there and just win the game and make sure that you're in and they're not?
fun stat for the podcast: most number of f-bombs in a single show. I counted 15 so far, and there's still time for more. We've dropped 15 so far.
No way.
No way in hell.
I mean, I probably counted for like 10 of them, but I did say fuck the Giants a few times.
Well, Michael, make that 16. All right.
Fuck
so let's go
Eli.
back.
Sorry, 17.
17. Let's go back to against the spread. So you had the Raiders +6. I'm
Yep.
actually going Bengals -6.
Okay. Dude, the Bengals are my team right now. Once the Eagles are out,
They're fun, man. They
Yeah.
really are.
I don't think they're going to go too far. I think they're going to win this matchup, but I'm not sure that they make it for any further.
Right.
But
They're fun. They're
man,
fun though.
yeah.
They're incredibly fun.
I love Joe
Chase,
Burrow.
Yeah.
So
So
you
then-
want to go? You want to go first for this one? The next one?
Sure.
We'll go back and
Patriots-
forth.
Yeah, that's fine. Patriots and Bills. The Patriots at one point looked like they were going to be in the top of the AFC, and then they kind of slid a little bit. I'm going with the Bills -4.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to go with that as well.
Okay.
The Bills -4 at home.
Yeah, I mean, I think it makes sense. I mean, you got a rookie quarterback. Again, they just haven't been that great recently.
Right.
New England. So, all right, then we have the game that we just talked about: the Eagles visiting the Bucs. I mean, it's a big line.
Yeah.
-8.5 for the Bucs.
I mean, like I said, I think they lose by a point or two. I'm gonna go plus 8.5 for the Eagles.
Yep, and we talked about earlier. I'm doing the same. So,
All right.
there you go.
I think you're first up next.
Yes, sorry, I was writing our picks down.
No, you're good.
Then you have the Niners visiting the Cowboys, and I get it. The Cowboys haven't been perfect this year. This seems like a small line. I hate the Niners. I think they stink.
Me too.
I'm gonna go Cowboys -3.
I think the Niners stink. I hate the Niners. I don't. I like their coach. I don't like their quarterback. I think they drafted a bad quarterback. But I think they win this game.
You think the Niners win?
Yes,
Okay.
I do. That has nothing. Look, I hate the Cowboys, But I think the Giants are probably my like most hated. And the Cowboys are right underneath. But this has nothing to do with me, my hate for the Cowboys or my love for the Eagles. I just think that San Fran has been playing well.
Yeah.
I don't think the Cowboys have been playing that well. I think San Fran goes in there and shocks us.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Huh. That's interesting.
I think this is the worst matchup for the Cowboys.
You think so?
Yeah.
Why
I think
is
the
that?
Eagles. I think the Eagles would have been tough only because they beat them twice this year. The Cowboys beat the Eagles twice this year. And obviously we know how the second game went this past week. None of the starters, like we said. I don't know. I just think that the whole world thinks that the Cowboys are just gonna roll, and I just think that
I'm
the
one
Niners.
of them.
Yeah, I just think the Niners are just gonna come in and they're gonna surprise us. Jimmy G's been playing well.
I still think he stinks.
He does stink, but that doesn't mean you can't win a game.
No, for sure. You're right.
They've been a decent team on the road this year. I think.
Yeah.
If they can get their running game going, their defense has played well enough. And like I said, I just think the Cowboys have been a little stale. Obviously, they kicked the shit out of our third stringers, but other than that, I think the offense has been fairly stale.
Yep.
These last few weeks.
Right.
So I think the Niners are going to shock the world.
All right. Let's move on. The Pittsburgh Steelers visiting the Kansas City Chiefs. Big line.
Yes.
Chiefs are favored by 12.5. Who do you got?
This is tough because I think it could go either way. Like, I think Kansas City could win by 13 or more.
Yep.
But I also think the Steelers could definitely get in there, under 12. Or within 12 points, rather.
Yeah, it's a big line. I'm still going back and forth, so I'm going to let you kind of hash this out.
Let's have some fun. I'm going to go KC.
That's what I'm doing, too.
Yeah, let's have some fun.
Yeah, exactly. Have some fun. And the next matchup, the final matchup, I think this has potential to be the best game of the weekend.
It's possible.
Cardinals-Rams.
It all depends what teams show up. If week 5 Rams and week 5 Arizona shows up, it's going to be the score is going to be plus 60.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
The overs is going to be plus 60. So
over-under's 50 right now for what it's worth.
Yeah, that's a little low, honestly.
Yeah.
Not low, but I just thought maybe it could be around the 56, 55, 54 mark.
All right. The highest over-under this week is 51. Sorry. It's the Niners game.
That's a weird.
Yeah, it is. But anyway, back to the Cardinals and Rams. Rams are favored by 4 points. It's in L.A. Which way?
That'll be going on Monday night when we record next week.
Is it Monday night?
It's Monday night.
When do they ever do a Monday night playoff?
It's the first year.
I don't like that.
No, me neither.
Why?
Yep. E15 Monday night, January 17th.
NFL, you got to why?
It's because it's all about money and it's all about I think they're really just trying to please these players too.
That's fucking dumb. I hate that.
Yeah, it's really bad.
I don't like that at all.
So you could have had 3 games Saturday, 3 games Sunday, but they decided to do 2 games Saturday, 3 games Sunday, and 1 game Monday. It's really dumb.
That's really incredibly stupid.
It's all about money. That's the bottom line. I just can't believe the players union allows this shit.
Yeah.
I can't believe the players union allows Saturday games, this many Saturday games in the regular season.
Right.
The last 2 or 3, 4 weeks have been Saturday night games.
Right. Stafford blows in big games. He does, but he might be due. So I'm taking the LA Rams -4.
Okay. We've only ever seen Stafford in big games with the Detroit Lions.
How many big games did he really have with the
Right,
Detroit
I think
Lions
he's only been
anyway?
in 2 playoff games.
Right.
Granted, he has looked horrible these last 3 weeks or so. So for that reason, I'm going to go Arizona +4. I think Arizona wins.
Oh, really? Okay.
So we'll see.
Yeah, interesting enough. We got a lot of different games in there, so maybe I catch up to you.
I think the only similar one we had was New England, right? New England Buffalo.
We also have
Buffalo
both of the Eagles. 4? We also have both the Eagles plus 8.5.
All right.
So there you go. All right, are you ready to move on? We've been going 40 minutes. Let's go. Did you say you had trivia this week?
I do have trivia.
All right, let's do some trivia.
All right. So we got a little bit of an
Mike's
interesting
fucking
thing here.
falling here. Okay, go ahead.
So we got a little bit of an interesting thing here. I did some snooping around. I
Jesus
did
Christ.
some little things behind your back.
Okay.
These are fan submitted
Oh, fuck.
trivia questions
Okay.
by none only than our best fan, Michael. So I reached out to Michael
Okay.
on Twitter, via Twitter. So last week, okay, so pull the curtains back for a sec. Last week I had said on the show that if anybody had any like things you wanted me to ask you for trivia, just hit me in the DM. So he DM'd me the game. Remember the question last week he had about the Flyers, who's the first retired number?
Yeah.
He had actually DM'd me, and I don't really go on my phone during the show. So I had meant like just DM me during the week, like. He DM'd me during the show, so I hadn't seen it. So I saw it after the show. I'm like, oh, like I explained to him, like, I don't really check my phone too much during the show. So if you want to, I was like, let's have a little bit of fun. Like, give me 5 trivia questions, and I'll shoot them out on the show at Mike, and I'll obviously I'll shoot it out, shout him out. So these are what did he name it? I think he named the email. Hold on a sec. Mike versus Mike trivia.
Okay, I like it.
So so here we go. All trivia. Michael says all trivia questions up. It just went away.
Oh, sorry, my bad.
All trivia questions have been checked by multiple sources and verified by, in quotations, the judges for accuracy. Hashtag no dunce hat. No dunce hat.
No dunce hat.
Yeah. All right. So we have 1, 2, 2 Flyers, 1 Phillies. I'm sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm not a math guy, guys.
Hashtag
1,
math
2
guy.
Flyers,
Okay.
1, 2 Phillies,
Okay.
and 2 Eagles. So I guess there's 6. 1, 2,
6.
3,
Okay.
4, 5,
Let's
6,
go
yeah.
with the Eagles.
All right, we'll start off with the Eagles. Okay. So the first question: in what year did the Philadelphia Eagles have their franchise worst year with a record of only 3-13 and were ranked dead last in numerous offensive stats?
What year was this? I was I imagine that was before the Reed era. I'm gonna go 98.
Is that your final answer?
Yes.
You're starting off hot, baby.
90,
1
98?
for 1.
There we
98.
go. There we go.
Okay, you want to keep going Eagles?
Oh yeah. Let's stick with the Eagles.
Okay. Now I'm not gonna give you a year because I think that gives away too much.
Okay.
So this next question: who was the only Philadelphia Eagle to record a sack, a fumble recovery, an interception, and touchdown, all in the same game lost to the Texans?
Okay. So the fact that it's the Texans means it's not an older guy because when the Texans came in, what 04, 05
I cannot give you that information.
ish, maybe right before
It was a little bit before that, but
2002, 2003, something like that, wasn't it?
I think
It wasn't
2000.
before. Was it 2000?
I think
Maybe around
so.
2000. Okay.
I think them and Carolina just had their 20-year anniversary last year.
Right. Okay.
I think they came in the same, or maybe Carolina had 25 years and they had 20.
Right. But either way, it's somebody that I saw play. It's not, you're not pulling this from like the 60s, or I'm sorry, Michael's not pulling this from like the 60s. So it repeated again. It was an interception.
An interception. I'm sorry, a sack, a fumble recovery, interception, and touchdown all in the same loss. So this guy did all this stuff and they still lost the fucking game.
Right. I'm gonna say Jeremiah Trotter.
2002, by the way.
That's when they
Jeremiah
came in?
yeah.
Okay.
Jeremiah Trotter is not the right answer.
Okay.
It is Brian Dawkins.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so now we got 2 Flyers, 2 Phillies. Where are we going?
Let's go Phillies.
Okay, Phillies. This one's kind of a softball here. What Phillies pitcher hit a home run in the 2008 World Series?
I don't like when you say it's a softball because
You really don't know this?
It's Blanton. Yeah.
Okay.
Joe Blanton.
Thank you.
But I'm just saying when you say it's a softball, that puts a lot of pressure on me, Dom.
I mean, it doesn't get it's that was T-ball. That wasn't even softball. That was T-ball.
I'm I'm
I mean,
getting
I'm
roasted.
not
I'm getting
making-
roasted for not knowing Brian Dawkins.
I'm not,
the Brian
and
Dawkins answer.
I'm not saying these questions are bad because I've come up with a lot easier questions. I'm just saying sometimes they're a little easy, sometimes they're a little
For
hard.
sure, for sure. But when you say it's a softball, it puts a lot of
It's
pressure
a
on me.
dead
That's all I'm saying.
softball.
Go
I don't
ahead.
give a
It's-
fuck. That's supposed to be. It's supposed to be like.
I got it right. You know, yeah, it was a softball, but I, hit it 500 feet.
Okay, I don't know about that. You hit it hard. I don't know if it's 500 feet. Because you kind of worried me that you were like that you said that at first.
No. It was Joe Blanton. I know who it was.
All right, next question. The third longest playoff drought in Phillies history was broken in 2007. How many unlucky years did it last? Bonus points for the years it started.
I'm sorry. Repeat the question.
So the third longest playoff drought in Phillies history was broken in 2007. How many unlucky years did it last? Bonus points for the year it started. The unlucky streak.
Right. How many years? How many years did they miss?
So
the
yeah,
playoffs,
so how many years, right?
and
For the third longest drought.
2002 it said?
7.
7. Let's go with it started in, I don't know, 96. So what's that? 9 years?
From 96 to 07?
Yeah.
No.
No?
If you're counting 96, right?
Yes.
96, 97, 98, 99, 2000.
Yes. Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Math guy.
No, it's not 9. It's more than
No.
9.
More than 9?
Yeah, it's like if you're saying 96 to 07,
Yeah, that's what I'm
it's
saying.
12 years.
12 years.
I'm saying like that's. I'm not saying that's the answer. I'm saying
Yeah.
so the third longest drought in Phillies history.
Yeah, I'm so
for not
confused by
making
this
the
question.
playoffs, right?
Yeah, what's the
It's
answer?
it's a two-parter question.
What's
No,
the que-
we're gonna break this down. We're gonna break down this word problem on this
I was,
episode.
I was
this
never
show
good
right
at
now.
test, Dom. Damn it.
So the third longest streak of them not making the playoffs
Okay.
happened from what year to 2007? Like how many years was it? So 96 to 07 is 12 years. Is 12 years your answer?
I can't do math. Yes, 12 years is my answer.
It is incorrect.
Okay.
It is 13.
I was close.
So the bonus question was what year did the unlucky streak start? If it was 2007. Like if
I'm not
if-
right. I got you. So 95.
right.
Okay.
Because 94 there was a lockout,
Okay.
and then 93 they made
All
the
right.
World
I
Series.
see what Michael did here. Unlucky number was your clue, Mike. 13 is an unlucky number. It's right. The answer's right in the question.
Correct.
So
You just sometimes hey man, sometimes we gotta read it. Like we can. It's a little
right.
hard to.
Yeah. Exactly.
you know.
I'm getting roasted. This is
you're-
why we do trivia.
listen,
So you guys
you're-
can just roast me in the comments.
You're unlucky. You're not as good as Eli in the playoffs apparently.
No, I'm
In
more
the
like
crunch
Peyton.
time.
I'm more like Peyton. I'm great in regular season. When it matters,
I
I
don't know
suck.
about that. It's a little much.
A little much.
Okay, so we got two flyers.
Let's go. Yeah, let's go Flyers.
Capping off one of the greatest comebacks in Flyers history, this player scored the game-winning goal in Game 7 of the 2010 NHL Conference Semifinals. I think we might have had this before, but I can't remember.
I think we did. I'm drawing a blank. Was it? I think it was Simone Gagne.
Is that your final answer?
Yes.
It's correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we had it on the show once, and I think when Doug would send us random
Probably.
trivia
Yeah.
for like a week or two straight, he would just send us random trivia.
Well,
I think
honestly,
that was one of the questions.
that might have been a question I asked you. Remember when I did the trivia when you
It
came
might
back
have
from
been.
when you came
Honestly,
back from Boston
I
because
think
this
I
was a
gave it
Boston
to you.
game.
I think I gave it to you, and then you gave it to me, and then we.
Right.
Yeah, it was a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, so last one. Who was the only Philadelphia Flyers to lose the Stanley Cup, but win the series MVP?
Ron Hextall.
So your final answer.
Yes.
You killed it tonight.
Yeah. There you go.
You killed it this week. How many did you get right?
You
got-
4 for 6.
Hextall, Simone Gagne, Joe Blanton, 98. Yeah.
4 for 6.
Yeah, so you missed Dawkins and the Phillies
Phillies one.
13 years. Yeah.
There we go.
Not bad. Not bad.
On
your
a
best week.
roll. You know what? Michael's invited back to ask questions anytime.
Hey, man, if he wants to keep sending them to me.
Make your job easier.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. You want to go Flyers or you want to go Sixers?
I feel like bitching right now, so let's go Sixers.
Bitching
Yes.
about the Sixers.
Tobias Harris.
They've won 6 straight. They're 7-3 in their last 10. They're playing well. Embiid's a fucking maniac. I'll just say that.
Sure is.
Why do you want to bitch? That's
Tobias
the last
Harris.
place I thought we were going. Okay,
Tobias Harris.
Yep.
Listen, I have been one of the biggest Tobias Harris supporters since the trade. And when he was traded here, he was the 3rd best scorer, the 4th best player, whatever it was. He filled his role nicely. They almost had a chance to win to go to the finals and win it all. Gets his contract. Everybody's saying he's overpaid. Averaging 20 and 8 with getting paid what was $180 million. I get it.
Yep.
I get it. Maybe a little overpaid, but that's just the way that sports works. And
Especially
next
the
year
NBA.
and the year after that and the year after that, you're going to see guys who are even worse than him that are going to be making more money.
Yep.
So it just kind of is the way it is. Now, he had an abysmal playoffs last year against the Hawks that I think people forget that even though it's so weird because the Sixers had a chance to win that series against Atlanta, and so many things that if like one thing happened, they would have won. Like if Ben Simmons would have shot 62% from the line, they would have won that series like he did in the regular season. But he shot 32%. If Tobias Harris showed up in game 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, they probably would have won that series. If Embiid played better in game 5, 6, 7, you know what I'm saying? They could have won. Like it's so weird that like one thing, a couple different things could. It was a couple different one things. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, I got you.
So, even after that, I've been a Tobias supporter. Came in this year. Didn't start off great. Then he got COVID. Came back. Had a couple okay games here and there. I have been a supporter up until a week ago. Or this past week. I think it was last Wednesday. Was having a terrible game, getting booed. Comes out the following game. Misses a shot. Everybody keeps booing him. Comes back, hits a shot, and the whole place goes crazy. They cheer for him. And he go. What exactly did he say? He didn't say shut the fuck up. He said stop fucking clapping.
Is that what he said? Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
he said stop fucking clapping. And to me, and okay, so he says what he says. And then a night or two later, you have the Knicks play. Knicks play Atlanta. A nail biter to the end. Or no, the Knicks played Boston. A nail biter to the end. Boston comes out, hits a game-winning shot, right? That night, Julius Randle, who is probably their best player, does the same thing. Misses a couple shots, they boo him. He hits a shot, they all cheer, and he puts his thumbs down. So they asked him after the game, what was that? And he said, that was me telling them to shut the fuck up. Where do these guys get off saying this about the fans? These people pay their hard-earned money to go watch you play. You don't play in freaking Milwaukee. You don't play in Portland. You play in Philadelphia. You play in New York. What do you expect?
These newer age athletes are pussies.
And it's not, and that's the thing. It's not just basketball. It's everywhere. Basketball mostly, but what do you expect is going to happen if you play bad for 5 games?
Michael's F-bomb counter is up.
But
no, I agree. Because we saw a lot about it when the Mets did it. Who was it? Who the fuck
Lindor and the other
the
dude,
guy that they acquired from
the Cubs,
Cleveland.
Baez.
Or Baez, not the Cleveland.
Lindor was Cleveland.
Yeah. Baez, yeah. When they did that in their season, these. I don't know when it started with the younger guys, if they just have more confidence or are cockier, or the fact that they just grew up their whole lives, nobody giving them any sort of criticism because they've always been the best at their sport. But I agree.
Listen, I don't make $180 million, so obviously I'm not as good as my job as Tobias Harris is at his job. So I understand, he is a human being, and, it's one thing to boo a guy, and it's another thing to, throw things at a player or berate a player or whatever.
I would get shit thrown at me for $180 million.
Right. That's a different argument. But that's a different conversation for a different day.
Not much I wouldn't do for 180 million.
Trust me, I agree. But but like that's the thing is like if I went to work and I wasn't performing the way that I am paid to perform or intended to perform or have shown that I can play or I can do my job as good as I am currently, I mean I wouldn't have a job. Like
right.
And like that's and listen, you're playing a kid's game. Like you're playing basketball for a living. Like these people spend not listen. I don't think these athletes understand. Like these people, including myself and yourself, who go to Flyers games and Phillies games and Eagles games, it's not free. Like we pay $50+ $60+ for one ticket a piece.
Right.
And I don't think people realize like, oh, you want to go to the game tonight? Sure. You got to drive there. You got to pay for parking. You got to fucking walk from your car to the freaking seats that are how far? You know what I mean? I don't think people realize it's paying for a beer. That's fucking $15. It's paying for food. That's friggin' $20. Like,
yeah.
And that's not just one beer. Like that's 3 beers. Like you're 3 beers in. Like, and then you got to sit in traffic going out. So like, and I understand like it's a luxury of life. Sports are a luxury, but like, you're not performing well at your job. What do you expect is going to happen?
Right. People pay the price, like you just talked about, the tickets and the concessions, and people want their money's worth.
Yeah.
So if they feel robbed that they just spent all this money and you're not living up to expectations, they 100% have the authority, for lack of a better term, to show their displeasures.
Especially if you're a team like New York, the New York Knicks, or the Philadelphia Sixers, like Philadelphia 76ers. These teams are not just middle of the pack, not going to make the playoffs. These are championship contending teams. Of course you're going to get booed if you take freaking 12, if you hit 12 of 60 shots. I mean, I know that's not what he's done, but of course you're going to get booed if you're not hitting the shots and you keep forcing and you don't do anything to get better. Like it just blows my mind how soft these guys are.
I know. Because I don't really know when it started. I mean, I guess the athletes, as the younger guys come up and the new guys that come up, they just, for whatever reason, they just can't handle the criticism as much. You know, we've seen it with Ben Simmons, and nobody even really still knows what his issues are and why he wants to move on. But for all intents and purposes, it sounds like it's because of the fan base being critical. Now you're good.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and like that's the thing is like I'm not sitting here saying like we should call the guy names and we should throw things out. Like there's definitely a point that you shouldn't cross, but like
don't be an asshole.
Right.
But, like, I don't think booing isn't an asshole. When did booing become disrespectful?
Right. It should be these people are booing me. I want to get better. Like look at I know we've had the conversations about Bryce Harper and how is it real, is it fake? You know what I mean? But that's a dude who like when he gets booed, like he knows I got to play better, not fuck these fans.
Yeah. The fans expect
25.
Right. The fans expect more though. Like that's all. Like I don't really know where to go from that because that's
And it's a shame because Embiid's playing
out of his mind.
Like
out of his
one of the best players in the league.
Yes.
Averaging over 30 points right now in the last 10 games or whatever it is. I mean, it's such a shame they can't find a guy to put next to him because right now's the time to do it because he's 27, 28 years old. I mean, he's in his basketball prime. And
listen, Tobias Harris, I have one question for you.
What the fuck he doing?
Yeah. What the fuck he doing?
That's it, you know?
That's my favorite drop so far.
It's never going away.
No.
Never. But back to Embiid, I mean,
let's hope we don't have to play that next week talking about Jalen Hurts.
I hope not. Hopefully we can say it about Tom Brady. There you go.
Yeah.
So, but Joel Embiid, I mean, he's a top 3 player in NBA, and you can't change my mind. He just is.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't know if I told this on the show or not. I originally had him in for MVP. I put a bet in for MVP.
Did you?
And I took it out. Yeah, I
Did you cashed out?
Yeah, I cashed out.
Wow.
When he had COVID. I didn't think there was any shot. I just didn't think
No,
with the
I
amount
could
of games. Because
right.
listen, he missed like 3 weeks or whatever it was, and I expect him to miss more games like,
Right.
coming in the future, whether it's rest or he
Injury,
has, like,
whatever,
he gets bruised or whatever, and they keep him out for a couple games. I just don't think he's going to play enough games to be considered an MVP candidate, or not a candidate, but to win it. Because if that wasn't the issue, like him missing games, if that wasn't an issue, he would have won it last year. That's the only
Right.
reason Jokic won, was because he played most of the season.
Right.
But yeah, I cashed out. I put $10 down. It was to win, like, I think he was like plus 1,000 or plus 700. Like,
Really?
yeah, it was low. And I cashed out with $6 left.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
There you go. But I mean, yeah, his last 5 games, 34 points, 31, 31, 31, and then tonight he has 31, and there's still 6 minutes left in the game. I imagine I don't know if he's in right now. They probably took him out because they're up
What's
by
the
25.
score? Yeah,
104 to 80. Yeah, they got
he's
5
done.
minutes left. They're up by 20.
Yeah, they
24.
got the reserves out there.
Yeah, so
There's no reason to play him.
no, so he's probably done at 31 points, but still has at least 31 points in his last
Right.
5 or 6 games.
Right.
I mean, he's just doing some stupid stuff.
For sure.
So, all right, you got anything else in Sixers? You want to rant anymore, or can we rant? Can we rant about the Philadelphia Flyers?
I guess we'll go Flyers. If we have to.
We don't have to. I don't really.
No, I'm just kidding.
Well, no, I mean half the team's out with COVID. You lose 3 games this week. One of the Ducks. One you get absolutely blown out by the to the
Right.
Penguins, but you didn't really have anybody in that game because everybody's out with COVID. So then you lose an overtime game to the Sharks. There's no positives right now going on. The playoffs seem extremely unlikely. Like if you look at the standings, it seems like they're in it, but the team that they're chasing, they're 5 points out, which is the Boston Bruins. But Boston has 4 games in hand. Actually, it might be 3 because I think Boston just won tonight.
Okay.
Yeah, Boston beat the Capitals 7-3.
Right.
So now they are 7 points out of a wild card spot with 3 games in hand. Boston's 3 games in hand.
I've seen people on Twitter say the year's over.
Yeah, it sounds like it, or seems like it.
Right. I mean, I'm not going to go that far yet, but with the way that this team is constructed right now and playing, there you go, 27 bombs, F-bombs.
Yeah.
With the way that the team is constructed right now and the way that they're playing, it's going to be a lot to get back into that, playoff talk or that wild card spot. So, yeah, I mean, it's a shame the way this season really has panned out, and just the way that this franchise is going after these last 10 years. Like, it's just kind of a shame.
Yep.
Just and we've talked about it a lot, but just the fact that we thought we were there this year, we had a chance to at least go somewhere and see.
This year was supposed to be different,
right?
And it's not.
And
it's
I give
worse
a lot of credit.
more than
I give a
anything.
lot of credit to Chuck Fletcher too. Like,
Sure, he tried.
trying to go all in.
Yeah.
You might as well. And I'm not even going to put a lot of blame on him either. I mean, it's not his fault that Travis Sanheim didn't pan out, or
Right.
Nolan Patrick didn't pan out, or a bunch of other things.
Yep.
It's a shame though.
Yeah, it is. I mean, where do you go from here? I mean, I think it's you got to start looking at trading a guy like Drew. I mean, I know we've had this conversation multiple times, but the closer and closer we get to the deadline, which is March, I want to say 21st. It's mid to late March. The closer we
Sorry.
get, no, you're fine.
I keep doing this.
Yeah, you're good.
That's
The
another
closer
28 bombs.
the closer we get to that
Sorry,
day,
I keep
though,
interrupting you.
it's fine. Then we're gonna have that conversation. So.
Right.
The East is so
It's gonna
stacked,
suck,
there's
but-
almost nowhere to go. Do you want to sell any parts that have value? I mean, again, Drew's really the only one.
I don't think
you can
he's the
make-
only one that has value.
He's I mean, he's not the only one that has value. He's the only one on a short term, like a rental type deal that a team's
Yeah.
acquiring. I mean,
I think
yeah,
they could
you
trade
could
Provorov.
trade a guy like you could trade a guy like Provorov. I don't know if I would.
Yeah.
You could trade a guy-
I just don't think he's the guy that everybody. He's a lot like Zach Ertz, where it was like, all right, this is the year. All right, this is not. It wasn't last year. It's this year. Okay, it wasn't last year. It's this year. And like
Right.
finally, is that fit into that mold eventually? But I just don't think. I think Provorov has that same kind of thing where, if they would have taken Cal McCarr over Nolan Patrick, yeah, Provorov would probably be the second best number 2 guy in D-man in the world. But
Well, that's the thing. Like we saw him when he was with a really good partner, Matt Niskanen, and Provorov was great. He was great that year. Matt Niskanen. So I really wanted to see him with Ryan Ellis, but it seems like the medical staff is completely botching this fucking Ryan Ellis injury.
yeah, but like the thing with Provorov too, it's like how long is this rebuild gonna take? Where like, what if it is another 5 years? We're gonna keep him for another 5 years when we could get him for possibly a first round pick or whatever it is. I mean,
Right.
something of value, but
Yeah, I hear you. I guess Carter Hart has value, a ton of value. I wouldn't move Hart.
what's the deal with the other kid, the other goalie?
Sandstrom.
Yeah. What's his
he's
story?
He's played well. At one point, I think Sandstrom actually was higher touted than Hart.
Yeah.
They thought he was going to be better than Hart, at least a lot of the scouts and pundits.
Well, was that because they didn't? Was that because Hart? Like, was that because of Hart or because of Sandstrom?
They thought Sandstrom was that good.
Okay.
And he was over in Europe for a while and didn't really come over. Then he was subpar in the AHL. He wasn't that great. So nobody really knows what he's going to be at the NHL level. It seems he's played a couple games here and he's looked solid. So maybe if you move on from a Martin Jones because he only has 1 year left, maybe you trade Jones, right? And Sandstrom could be your backup the rest of the year and get him playing time, and maybe he's with a duo with Carter Hart next year. I mean, I guess that's possible, but that's kind of where I'm at with Sandstrom.
Okay, I just wasn't like I remember him. I remember having both of them when they first came into the organization. It's like, wow, now they got 2 goalies. Like, who's he gonna be? And I just didn't know where. Because did he have injury history too?
Not that I know of.
Okay, I thought maybe I just made that up, but
not that I know of. Don asks, what about the guys you brought in on 1 year deals? So that would be Nate Thompson is hurt. Ristolainen could get you something. I don't know if you're going to recoup that first round pick you gave up to get him, but he could get you something. Who else? Keith Yandel, I can't see having much value,
right?
Because he's been really bad. Maybe you get like a 4th or 5th round pick for him. Who else do you have?
Now this is not another. Go ahead,
Derek Brassard you have that could maybe get you a pick. Yeah, anybody on 1 year deal you look to get rid of immediately. Or maybe not immediately, but as soon as the deadline is close, you get rid of the guys on 1 year deals.
And I'm officially going to say I hate Travis Konechny.
Yeah. No, I'm
not a fan.
I'm kind of in that camp too.
I just think we know what he is, and
yep,
he's a guy that's going to be great for 10 games, and then he's going to suck for 30 games. So.
Michael brings us breaking news. Apparently tomorrow's game has been postponed.
Oh, shit. I didn't say the F word. Is that because of COVID related? Or?
I would imagine so.
Wow, we got a nail biter for the national championship here.
Really?
No, it's 9-6 at halftime. Yes, so Tuesday's game.
Right. Again, it was supposed to be
temporarily called off due to Philadelphia COVID-19 issues.
Okay.
Good looks, Mike.
Interesting. Yeah, it's okay. I'm just ready for this all to stop. But it's a different argument.
What, the Flyers season or COVID?
Both. Both.
I'm ready for these winter meetings to start because of I'm ready for this lockout to end. For baseball.
We can move on because fuck the Flyers. That was going to be the one thing that I was going to say about this week as we were going to wrap up and close out the show. It's an absolute embarrassment what MLB's doing.
Yeah.
When it comes to this lockout.
Yeah.
Like apparently they haven't talked in weeks, both sides. Like they haven't even talked. There's been literally no communication.
Yeah, they're like 14-year-old kids.
Yeah,
like,
it's bad. Yeah. It's embarrassing. Like with
no, let me ask you this: like with the little information that we have, other than because all we know is that they're just
about
not
money,
talking, right?
And it's about money. It's about them splitting the money.
But I'm saying from like what little information we know, what do you think the chances are this season?
The chances of what? Them starting the season?
Yeah, in April.
On time?
Yeah.
Yeah, 10%.
Yeah. I mean, look at 94. They started the first 2 or 3 weeks, and then they went into lockout for a whole year. I think they started in May of 95. Like so.
Well, that wasn't even technically a lockout. I think was it. I don't think
whatever it was.
Yeah, I think it was technically a strike. I don't think they've missed.
Right,
I don't think they've ever missed games due to a lockout.
Really, I thought they
Yes.
didn't play.
The players went on strike.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like two
different
right.
arguments. They're two different things, but the owners are locking out because there's no deal in place.
Right.
There was a deal in place before, but the players said we're not playing under this deal.
Right.
So the players went on strike. But I believe this is going to be if they don't play, this will be the first time I think they've ever had a lockout cancel games.
Right. I'm curious. I'm curious to see. Because there's just nothing. There's nothing going on in baseball,
Nothing.
like at
No.
all.
No.
The biggest news we've had in the last month or two was Kevin Rosenthal getting fired by MLB Network. It was like
what
the only
what
thing.
happened with that?
So apparently it's because he criticized the commissioner too much. So he had him fired.
I mean, it's a hot take. That's his job.
It's what you're supposed to. It's what you get paid to do. Yeah.
Right. It's his job.
Yeah.
Like
he's still with like the Athletic and ESPN and all that.
yeah, but like
or
if
whatever
that's,
he's with.
I mean, I obviously it
Fox.
seems like that's true, but that goes again. Like, why would people watch it? Because that means your product is watered down, and you're not going to give me what's on your mind because
Right.
you're going to be afraid of getting fired for talking bad about baseball.
And he's the best in the business. Like he's
Right.
The Adam Schefter, Ian Rappaport, all that.
Right. Yeah, he should be the commissioner. Don agreed. Because I mean, Manfred is a mess. He's a joke. So, but just with all the problems baseball's had with keeping fans, and the last thing they need to do is lockout. I mean, I know I say that every time there's a potential lockout coming, but if they were talking right and they couldn't get anywhere, that's one thing. The fact they won't even talk
Right.
is an absolute embarrassment. It really is.
Yeah.
So apparently they're gonna start talking back in January. Well, it's January. I mean, it's January 10th, and but they still haven't talked yet. So
Right.
And I mean, pitchers and catchers are supposed to report a few weeks, probably, right?
It's usually the last week of February.
I was gonna say mid to
Or
late,
like
mid to late February.
It's around
yeah.
the 20th. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like usually.
So they got about
It's
a
usually
month.
it's usually like 2 or 3 weeks after the Super Bowl. Like
Right.
2.5 weeks.
Right. So they got about a month,
Yeah.
a little over a month. And
Because I think
don't-
they usually report on like the Super Bowl is the first Sunday, or it used to be at least the
now
first
it's
Sunday.
the second. Yeah.
Right. It used to be the first Sunday, and then not a week from the Super Bowl, but 2 weeks from the Super Bowl. That Wednesday is
Right.
usually when the pitchers and catchers report.
Right.
Like Monday they go down, Tuesday they check in, and Wednesday is when they, start.
Yep.
Usually.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, they got to figure that out because I mean, this is.
And they got
supposed
to
to be
finish signing guys.
I was gonna say this is supposed to be the time where you hear about. I mean,
Yeah.
not even December really was supposed to be that time where you hear about all these free agents and trades, and there's nothing. They
Right.
can't do it. So, I'm curious to see when that happens. What the first big move is gonna be.
Right.
So. You got anything else on your mind before we get out of here?
I already have Kyle Schwarber as a Philadelphia Philly in my mind, so they're gonna have to get that done.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
So.
I mean, there's so many players. Who was the guy from Pittsburgh?
Brian Reynolds?
His name. Brian Reynolds. Yeah, they got to trade for him. They got to do a bunch of stuff.
They have a lot of stuff to do, so they really they got to get it going. They got to pick up the talks here because the Phillies got a lot of moves to make.
I wonder, are they allowed to negotiate with these guys right now, but
I
not
don't think
sign
so.
them until then? They can't even have communication.
I don't
at
think
all.
so. I mean, I'm sure they are, but I
Right,
don't think they're
privately or whatever.
really allowed. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So.
All right. Well, I think that does it for our show. Any final thoughts before we get out of here? I mean, we got an Eagles game this weekend.
We do have an Eagles
So.
game this weekend. I can't wait to break it down with you next week.
Absolutely.
Hopefully, it's we're breaking that game down and looking forward to another one. So
Hopefully. Yeah.
yeah, it's a big hopefully.
Yeah. Absolutely. So.
So
I'm sure we'll text throughout it. So listen.
Yep.
everybody, go like us, on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram at Phired Up Podcast, YouTube too. Listen anywhere you get podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts. And yeah, we will see you guys next Monday.
I